Yep.
Hello, everybody. My name is Peyton Counts. I'm the Cultural Healing Coordinator here for Boys Fort. I'm originally from Turtle Mountain, but I've lived on the Boys Fort Reservation now for a couple of years. So I brought, for our event tonight, I invited Terry. He's going to do some drum teachings and do some moccasin games, talk about Anishinaabe games and stuff like that. We do have some upcoming events in a couple weeks. And I wanted to say that I did create a YouTube page for us, and I'm going to be working on probably creating like a Facebook page or something so that we can get more information out about the events we host. And like when we record these events, like right now with Terry, I'll post that on our YouTube page. So if you guys want to refer back to it, you guys can go to that. It's Boys Fort uh, Traditional Healing Program is what the YouTube page is called. And so right now I have 3 videos on there. So we did one with Linda Eagle Speaker. We did one with Karen Drift on how to ask for your Indian name. And then we did another one with Sharon Day on water walks and like offering like water advocacy and stuff like that. And so those are up on our YouTube page now. This one will be up after this event's complete. And whenever we continue to host events, whether they're like on Zoom or in person, I'll try to post that information on our YouTube page as well. So for people who want to go back to it or people who aren't able to physically be at the events and stuff like that, they'll be able to get that knowledge and participate in that sort of way. So I'm excited about that. And I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, you guys can always reach out to me, email, phone, once I create this page. But yeah, so I know it's been a weird week, so and maybe a long day. It's Thursday, so thank you guys for sharing your evening with us. And I will let Terry introduce himself, and we will go from there. We will be on the call for about an hour, so we'll wrap up around 7. If you guys at any point need to take breaks, water, use the bathroom, anything, take care of yourselves. Of course, always do that. If you have questions, you can write them in the chat or ask towards the end of the call. All right, go ahead, take it away, Terry.
Bonjour, Anin. Hey, Terry in addition cause the main endodam, Onamini Jagai Gun, Nindunjba, Nish, no Yola, Nanan Matana, Ni Bibunikis. Hello, my name is Terry Goodsky. I'm the Sturgeon clan. I come from Lake Vermilion, which is actually Boys Fort. I just said I'm 50 years old, gonna turn 51 next month. Yay! All right, hey, I'm here to tell you just a little bit about drum etiquette, the role the drum plays in the Ojibwe culture. And in my hand right now, I have a hand drum, which is actually came from the spirits and made it through portages to the Ojibwe people in dreams. So yeah, I'm just gonna basically break down a song. What I'm gonna do is a flag song. It was made for my brother Harvey Goodsky. It's a U.S. Army flag song, and I'm gonna break it. I'm just gonna sing like a half a push-up, and then I'm gonna explain the song and to break down the song in general. So around the drum group, there's a lead singer, there's a lead beater. Everybody has a role in the drum. The lead singer is the one that sets the tone of the song. And so this particular song has kind of a long lead, and then the second, and then it has that Dakota drop beat to it. So I'm just gonna sing just maybe a half a push up, and then I'm gonna get to the meaning of the song, who it was made for, what it was made for, the types, the parts of the song, okay? So, all right, let's start off here. I'm not gonna sing it too loud, so I'm just gonna have some fun here, okay? eh, ya. Way da da, eh, da, eh, ah, eh, ya, oh. Way da da, eh, da, eh, hey, ya. Way da da, eh, da, eh, hey, ya. Way da da, eh, da, eh, ah, that is basically just half a push-up. The song, let me break down the song here. You had the lead, and then if I had other singers with me, on a drum or even hand drums, they would sing that part that I led, and they would do what they call the second. So, and then we'd all keep beat with the same drum, the same beat with that Dakota drop beat, that dunk, 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 dunk. And then we would sing that part. Then on the second half of the song, we'd sing it again. Then we would put in check beats, and it's like. And we would put it anywhere between 4 to 6 check beats, or honor beats as they'd call them. And then we'd that would signify, that would mean that I'm kind of ready for another push-up. And either the lead singer would do the lead again, and then the guys would second it. It doesn't always have to be the lead singer that does the leading. He could hand it off to another person, just point the finger, or the nod, and that way we would do that. We would do that song anywhere between like 4 to 6 times. The reason why we do it anywhere between 4 to 6 times is that it's a flag song, and when they're raising the flags or even lowering the flags, we'd have to sing until all the flags are raised. Some people wouldn't, they would kind of wait for the first push-up to go through. Then in the second push-up, then they'd start raising the flags. Or some of you would even wait for like the second push-up. Then it'd slowly raise the flags. And then when they'd bring them down, they'd have to fold all the flags a certain way from the family members that served in the military. I'm honored to have my dad's flag and my grandpa's flag, his dad's flag. I have both of those. So I'm honored I'm not a veteran, but I do hold those flags, and I try to take care of them the best I can. Because my grandpa served in the United States Army, and my father, Harold Goodsky, served in the U.S. Navy. So and for reasons under my control, I couldn't serve. I was too rough as a kid, and I had too many surgeries, and I couldn't serve. But I do my best to try to honor those flags that I have with that song that was made for my brother in 2006. That was made by Virgil Mountain. He goes by actually Virgil Blacklands now, and he gave us that song. That's our family song. So it's basically given to the family, which is me, my nephew Little Harv, my nephew Brian Stillday Jr., Devin, and we're and plus the guys from Lake Vermilion, and guys from Burnside Lake, guys from that was given to the family, and I have a very big family, very big drum family, and guys from Burnside Lake, Lake Vermilion, Northern Wind, Boys Fort singers, guys that sit around the Boys Fort traditional drum, Gagi Gay Kwe. I'm related to guys on the drift drum, the strong drum, and I do my best to carry myself. Well, now that I do my best to carry myself the best way I know how, and I try not to, I try not to use drugs or alcohol around the drum now. When I was younger, I did, but now that I've been clean and sober for so many years, 20 years, and my voice can still get up there for a while after almost over 30 years of singing. But as I said before, that song was given to us in 2006 for my brother Harvey, and we always try to honor him by singing that song with that particular song. And now everybody sings it, you know, even if they're not family, they'll still sing it, because that's the way songs should be shared, you know, not because it's a bad song or a good song or a really it makes people feel really good. And that's the legacy that my brother left, that he was a really good singer and he got to travel a lot of different places. And he got to bring me a couple places too. And I every time I try to sing that song wherever I go, just to honor the people. And I you know, my drum teachings have always been, you know, try to go to the drum uh, clean and sober, you know, not high, not drunk, not hungover. It wasn't always like that, but you know, I've decided to really clean up my act if I'm going to be a role model, as they say, or a positive role model. So I sing that song with pride. It was given to our family, the Goodsky family, which just extends to everybody basically on Boys Fort and Lac LaCroix and other parts in Canada. And even we have family in Grand Portage too. But we're the ones that usually sing that song. And that's, you know, me, Harv, or Brian, you know, that are leading it, or even sometimes our adopted nephews, you know, that Harv liked. We sing that song, they sing that song too. And sometimes it's forgotten, you know, but once in a while I go to a powwow and somebody else will be singing it and I'm like, okay, well, that's what that song is meant for. That song is meant just to have fun. That song is just to be sung, you know, and that's what I found out, that every other song, you know, that we've sang over the years that we started singing, you know, as Lake Vermilion when we first started out. And we'd go places and, you know, sing as a young group and we just have fun. And and I do remember a couple times, even nowadays, you know, within the last 10 years, you know, when I first started singing, I started, you know, meeting other different groups and singing with them. And I found myself in Red Lake one time. I was singing with the Catholic singers and my friend Buffalo, Willie. And he was like, Terry, let's sing this one song. And I try to go with the original teachings, like, you know, when you sing a song, at least know who made it and know what it's made for, you know. So I was like, I don't know that song, dude. I don't feel comfortable singing that. And he goes, well, let's sing it anyways. And the rest of the guys were like, yeah, you know, it's all right, let's do that. So we sang it and we just got done singing. And next thing you know, an elder came up and he goes, hey, he goes, whose song is that? And we were all looking at each other and looking dumb, basically. And we were like, we don't know. It just, you know, it was a nice song and we decided to sing it. And the elder, you know, he pulled up a chair and he gave us, put tobacco on our drum, and then he gave us an ear beating. You know, you know, it's like that's my song. That's a family song. He goes, we only sing that, you know, to honor people and for honor song and memorial song. And that's the first time I ever got yelled at for singing a song. They're singing a song like that and not knowing where it came from. And it wasn't the first time I ever got yelled at for singing a song. But another time when even in that lake, where Lake Vermilion, we're practicing our side steps. This was a long time ago. And we got yelled at too. You know, me, Butts, Jer, Bill, Arch, everybody, Dan Lightfeather, Junebug, you know, you guys know who you are. All the Lake Vermilion guys, everybody knows who Lake Vermilion is. I'm not gonna name drop. But we were singing side steps during supper break, and we got yelled at by Uncle Gene. You know, that's one thing I can say about Uncle Gene, Goodsky, my uncle. He come up and yelled at us, and it feels good, you know. He comes up and he goes, "Hey, you guys aren't supposed to sing those songs here." And we all started looking at each other like, "Oh man, we're gonna get an ear beating." And he pulled up a chair and he talked to us, and he goes, "Before you guys sing those songs, he goes, you guys should give the dancers some tobacco so they come out and dance." And she said, "Okay, well, next time we'll do that. We'll think about doing that. So, but nowadays, it's weird because everybody practices their side steps. Everybody practices that, that side step beat, that side step beat that's originally for those songs, those jingle dress songs. And everybody practices that separate break now. But when we did it many, oh, that's a lot of manys. So we did that like many years ago. We got yelled at for it, and even now as we get older, I still get yelled at. It's great though, but that's how we learn things. We went to Eagle Butte, South Dakota one time, and it was a Veterans Day powwow, and I went with Buffalo Horse, and all the guys from Buffalo Horse, Verge, Vin, Bud, uh, Damien, Bud Lone Eagle, let's see, Tony, Bill, all you guys know who you are. I'm not gonna say all you guys' names, but yeah, we went there and we sang a song, one of the songs of the 38 Dakota that were hung in Mankato. And one of those songs we brought over from Minnesota into South Dakota. And, we got them singing. We thought we did a good job, we thought, it was like, yeah, that was cool. We honored the 38 over there. The next thing you know, an elder comes up and he goes, who's your lead singer? And we just, all pointed to our lead singer. And he goes, next time, he goes, when we do these songs, he goes, you sing because you sing a real veteran song. I was like, and then our lead singer was like, yeah, that's one of the songs for one of the 38 +2 Dakota. And he goes, well, that's over in Minnesota. He goes, over here, he goes, you sing a real veteran song, or else you sing a straight song. And we were like, oh man, we're all in our like 30s and 40s, and we're still getting yelled at. But it's always good to know where a song comes from and what it's for, and who made it, and what it's made for. And but yeah, that's just one of the the many times that I've traveled and got yelled at. But it's a good way. This is how we learn things. We make mistakes in life, and I'm glad we have elders. Well, not anymore, but Gene would always encourage us guys to when we started singing as like Vermilion, to encourage us to keep going and sing. And we always did that. We always weren't angels, but we've always tried to conduct ourselves the best way we can. It's kind of hard to kind of talk about it. She just passed the other day, and but yeah, it's one of our teachers that liked us when we sang, and always come harassed us a little bit and made us feel good that we were still young guys and we were still sitting around the drum. That's another thing about drum etiquette. We consider our drums living beings, and at powwows it's really hard, as when we receive every teachings, that we never leave a drum alone. And I've been to powwows where some people have left their drums out in the rain even, but the next day that drum was totally ruined because the lead singer took off somewhere. I don't know where he went, but he left his drum sitting there. And and there's a teaching behind that if you leave your drum sitting there and somebody comes up and whistles that drum and nobody responds to it by starting a song, they can take your drum, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. So you never leave your drum by itself. You always have a singer sitting by. He could be on his phone, or whatever, watching a movie, but he's always there by the drum. And nowadays you go some places and you see the drum just sitting there by itself, and I was like, wow, okay. And putting a blanket on it doesn't count. I hate to say this, but putting a blanket over a drum doesn't count as watching it. Even for a supper break, that doesn't count. Turning it on its side doesn't count. I was supposed to have
Harry,
some.
somebody asked, do people actually take the drums when that happens?
Yeah, I've actually seen one time where somebody actually took a drum. The whistleman came up and he saw that that drum was sitting there by itself. So we whistled it like 4 times and there was nobody around, no singers around it. So it was his right as a whistle carrier. He just picked up the drum and hauled it away and took it away. And the guys had to, pay a little something to get it back, give them some tobacco and some gifts. And then they got an ear beating. But it's an, I don't say, an ear beating, that's what I call it over the years when, we're talked to, but in a good, respectful way. It's an ear beating. I still get an ear beating now and then, from my elders. But yeah, I've seen people take drums, and they'd have to give them, some gifts, some tobacco, some blankets, and it looks really, and when you see that, it's just like, wow, how is that our, we're taught never to leave our drums there alone, and they're never supposed to be sitting there by themselves. You wouldn't leave your grandma or your grandpa, and sitting there by itself, especially on a hot day or even rain, you know. So, but yeah, another thing, I always go back to some of my teachings. I don't always follow them all the time. If it's a hot day, I'll wear trunks. I'll wear trunks around the drum, which is not the thing to do. It's a way of being humble. But if it's a hot day, it's just like 80, 90 degrees. I'll cheat and I'll wear trunks. But one of our teachings is that we always wear pants to the drum, and it's just about being humble. You don't want to see the drum looking up at you in a certain way, like especially that angle. And I don't want to see your ashy ankles or your ashy knees. So the drum doesn't want to see that neither. So it's just a way of being humble. When you go to the drum, you try to wear pants or sweats or to cover your knees and your ankles, stuff like that. But yeah,
Okay. Oh, I was gonna say, somebody else asked, how does someone make a song, and what's the oldest song that you know of?
The oldest song I know of is my grandmother's song made by my father for his mother. I can't remember it right off the bat. The song is like almost 50 years old, and it's made for my grandmother. And we sung it only once. I sung it only once in like maybe 10 years. And I sang it in Mille Lacs for my dad. And I had my nephews with me and my uncle Ron. Had Uncle Ron with us, and we had little Harv and Brian, and Brian's kids Skylar and Bryson, and Skywalk and all those guys with us, and the Sugar Bush drum, which he carries. But yeah, that's the oldest song that I know, and our songs are basically come to us in dreams. As long as come to us in dreams, or they're given to us. It's at one time that from what I remember, it's the highest honor that you can be given, because the song will basically live forever. Eagle feathers over time will, little mites will bite them, little dust mites or like that, and they'll get thin and they'll, look not too good. But a song, well, will still be out there, if people remember it and people are still singing it. Even as I said before, my brother's song is made for him in 2006. It's 16 years later, and there are people still singing it for a flag song, which is beautiful. But yeah, our songs come to us in dreams, or else are given to us. They come to us in dreams, and sometimes you're given a song. As when we started out as Lake Vermilion, we were given songs from Little Otter, from Eric Gobble, and he gave us a few songs, and that's very beautiful because it's a respect that we wanted to sing our own songs, instead of singing everybody else's. And we did it the right way. We asked different groups if we can sing their songs, give them a little money, a little tobacco, a tape recorder, even though it's supposed to be like our songs are supposed to, be taught like our language orally, no cheating. But, for us to learn correctly, we would get a tape recorder and a little junia, a little money, some tobacco, and give somebody a tape recorder, whether it's a little digital recorder or, or when we had tape recorders, that's how we give, like, we got permission to sing most of people's songs. And we looked up to everybody else, when we first started, we looked up to Blackstone and Black Lodge and Whitefish Bay and all those guys. And we got permission to sing their songs too, even High Noon. And now everybody wants to sing, Young Spirit, the word songs, stuff like that. But yeah, that's basically where our songs come from. It comes from our dreams. They're given to us by that way. As a Lake Vermilion singer, we have our very own songs. And but yeah, we're still going strong over 30 years. But that's just basically how our songs come to us. Whether they're given to us in dreams or they're given to us by somebody else who probably had a dream about it, so yeah, that's how the basics of the songs, the meaning of the drum. The meaning of the drum is basically the heartbeat of Mother Earth. It came to us from the Dakota people. It was given to a gift to the people of Red Lake, and from there it went everywhere. Now, if you know how to make a drum, you can make one your own, or have somebody. Our traditional drums are very different from our power drums. They have if you see on a traditional drums that hang on like 4 staffs, you'll see the north, east, south, and west, and that's the way those drums are supposed to set up. And everybody has a role around the drum. You just don't go to a drum and just sit down and say, okay, well, they already have their set singers, who sits in the north, who sits in the east, who sits in the south, who sits in the west. And when I sit with the guys from Boyd's Fort, the traditional drum, I usually sit like in between the west and the south. So I'm a big guy, so I have to take up like that whole little section there. But yeah, it's we all have a role on a drum. Some of us, we start off as gophers, you go for coffee, go for pop, while everybody else sits around the drum, And we used to sit around a drum and, just in a hot, sweaty weather, because we didn't want to leave Grandpa sitting there by ourselves, or nobody wanted to get up and go, so I'll sit around in the sun. Nowadays, it's like everybody brings a canopy or, a canopy or a tent, big canvas tent that we all sit under as we get older. But yeah, well, I'm here to talk about the etiquettes of the drum, to be respectful. Try not to go to the drum like under any influence of drugs or alcohol. That was one of my teachings. I didn't follow it for a long time. And now that I'm older, people are asking me about the teachings of the drum and the meanings of the songs, and the different variety of songs and how they're put together, and how you have the lead, the second, and then in the second half you start the same song again, then you put in the check beats, and then then the lead again, and the second part of the song. But so yeah, that's basically what I have to, it's almost quote Forrest Gump. That's all I have to say about that. But would you guys like to learn learn how to play like the games of the Ojibwe that are, the gentleman's game, the bear game, originally the moccasin game, and a game that the women can play too, the hand games. And I'll try to do my best to teach you guys the meanings behind the meanings behind the games and the origins of the games. So would you guys want to learn about that? Or is there any questions about, are we getting any questions about the drums or the songs or?
Bonjour.
Hi.
Any more gonna chic to go?
Hello.
Na may do them.
Okay.
Metanji gumming donji. I was just wondering about when you say that women could be involved. Is it the game you call Begason?
The hand games or the bone game?
I think it's the bone game. with the
Yeah,
bone?
yeah, with the little pieces of bone or antlers. Yeah, I'm gonna basically teach you guys the origin of that game and the origins of the moccasin game too. So I'm gonna do my best to, you know, they're both played with a drum. Uh, it's not, I was told a long time ago that the women were the caretakers of our drum because the drum came from a woman. So the women were the ones that, that took care of our drums. Us guys, we sometimes make mistakes, and it's leave grandpa in the car or leave grandpa, and leave grandpa, at home, and not really take care of him that well. But the women are the original keepers of our drums. So I'm going to actually teach you guys about that. Is there any questions about the origins? Is But yeah,
How
that's
are the games?
the games. They get right into the games. Well, the origin behind the moccasin game, it's a gentleman's game. It's played only by the men, but it's weird because knowledge has to be passed on. And sometimes the origins of the game get lost. So I'm here just to teach two styles of the games that the Ojibwe play. The hand games the women can play. I can teach you the rules for that. I can teach you the rules for the moccasin game. I'm not really an expert on it. I have been given a set, and just to wing it, and the counting and stuff behind the moccasin games. So I'm going to do that. There are some games I do not know, like the dish game that women play. I don't know that. There's a few other games that the Ojibwe women play. The feather game, I do believe it's called, but as I said before, I just know the rules and the etiquette behind the games that the guys play, and the one of the games that the women and the men can play is the hand games. So, do we have any questions about any of those, or should we get right to it?
I'd love to hear.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
Sorry.
I'd love to hear how the moccasin game goes.
Well, the moccasin game, as I said before, is a gentleman's game. It's only been played by the men, and there are actually 3 versions that I've actually heard. The first version I heard was the Mimikwesi, the little people gave it to us, and a father had 2 little boys and a wife, and his wife passed away, and his wife got really sick and she passed away. And while the father was out hunting, the boys were outside, playing by the edge of the woods, and they heard a voice like saying, "Hey, come here, come here, come here. Let me show you something." And they're like, "No, no, no, that's okay." And the spirit kept saying, "Hey, come here. I'll show you a game. I'm not going to hurt you." And they were like, "No, no, that's okay." And after a while, they were like, "Well, let's see what this is about. Let's see what this person wants us to learn about." So the Mimikwesi showed us that to hide a stone under a piece of fur. And that's how I was taught. And the Mimikwesi little people said, as long as this game is played, the earth will continue going, and it's a game of peace and quiet, and there's no talking. If the game is just for the men, and it's played for the men only. And I will show you how to the counting and how the game is played and the origins behind that. That's one of the stories. The other story I heard was there was a guy, he was out sick in the woods, and somebody came to him, and they were asking him, "You okay? You need something to eat?" And the guy was like, "No, I'm okay." And he was depressed. And so the spirit, the being left, and he came back again like the next day, and the guy was still sitting there, and the spirit the person asked him, he goes, "You okay? Do you need something to eat? I can give you some. I can give you something to eat." And the guy was like, "No." He goes, I'm okay. He was depressed and he was sick. you know, the same thing, with depression and stuff like that. So the next time that the bean came to him again, hey, you okay? And he goes, no, I'm not. He goes, I'm not. And the bean said, well, can I show you something here? He goes, can I show you something that'll make you feel better? And the same thing, as long as this game is played, the world will keep going. And this is an Ojibwe game. And so he pulled out this bundle, and he laid out this bear skin. He laid out this bear skin, and then he pulled out these little marbles. I don't know where Indians got marbles for earlier that time, but I don't think we did have marbles a long time ago. But that was the origin, he showed him his game, and he had like 8 things. He had like 8 pieces of fur, and they were kind of curved. And there's a meaning behind that too, because that's kind of like a bear footprint, the things. And so he showed him how to play this game and the rules of the game. And so the guy was like, so the bean gave the guy something to eat, and showed him his game, and the guy started getting better. And as he walked away, he started walking away, and he looked back, and he saw the guy was standing upright, but he had fur on his legs. And the guy was like, oh, that guy must be really warm. So as he walked a little further away, he looked back again, and the guy was on all fours walking. He goes, oh, the guy must be getting tired. So as he walked further away and he looked back, and he saw the guy was just walking on all fours, and he was a bear. And so it was actually really called the bear game. And the same thing with the other story is it's a gentleman's game. And the third story was, besides the little people, the bear gave this game to the Ojibwe people. And it's the same rules that, as long as this game is played, the world will continue. And it's a gentleman's game, and it's played between the guys in the families, the guys of the tribe. And I can show you a little bit the very basics of the counting and the sticks and the equipment that it takes to play the moccasin game. But yeah, that's one of the stories that I was told, and we gave it to the Dakota people. And there was actually a story between there too, like a hunting party of 2 Ojibwe people ran into 2 Dakota people, and they were in the same hunting area. So, and that story is where they took off. They didn't have anything, they didn't have any, the bundles, or, they didn't have the bundle. They just had their moccasins. So and what they used was bullet casings, and one was marked. So that's how the moccasin game transformed from the bear game to the moccasin games, because they took off their moccasins and they played a game. And the Dakota people say they won the game. The Ojibwe people say they won the game because they invented it, but and it's played between both tribes, and it's a little different from each tribe that plays it. And the thing is, there's no talking smack. There's no, you lost. There's always a handshake after the game is over between the winner and the losers, because that's one of the rules. And there's hiding, then there's seeking, and but I'm going to show you the very basics of the moccasin game. Then I'll show you the very basics of the hand game set that the women can play too. And I'll try to teach you guys some of the rules as we go along about how to play the game and how to correctly play the game. But even that's changed over the hand games. It's changed over the years. When I was taught it and I was given a set, you'd hold your hands like this, and when you'd hold like a marked one and an unmarked one in each hand, and then the person would be, just basically, direct hand signals, like this hand, that hand, inside, outside, outside, or because there'd be 2 people, you have 2 sets, and you go left hand, or even like the block, you know, like that. You'd block this person, and with this person, you pick that hand, or else you block, and you pick this hand. But your hand signals would have to be direct and clear. Say, okay, I'm blocking this person, but I'm picking this person. I'm picking you, and I'm picking that hand, whichever the thumb goes. And if you guess correctly, you'd win the bones or the set, and then it would be your turn to hide. And if you guessed incorrectly, you would lose the stick for the hand games. And the hand games would consist of like maybe 2 people or 3 people, because you'd have to pick a captain, and the captain would decide, well, you guys are going to hide, and I'm going to sing, you know. And even if you don't, like for both the hand games and the Moxon games, you'd always have a drum, and you'd always have even if you didn't sing, you'd always have that is the traditional beat of both the hand games and the Moxon game. But you know, sometimes during some Moxon games, your job in either one of the games would be to distract the guesser from finding, you know, the marked hand, or, you know, the marked bullet casing, or the stone, or the God's eye for the marbles. So I have the examples of both the games laid out behind me, or actually in front of me, and I'm going to turn the camera around and show you how to basically play the hand games. The first, I'm going to play the Moxon game, teach you the hiding and the rules of that and the equipment. Then we're going to go to the hand games, which women can play too. And I started teaching this game, the hand games, because the women can play it and they can sing too, and you know, they can just have fun. That's one of the games that I continue to play with, you know, the involved the females, and they always have fun. And when they sing, they can sing anything they want, and you know, they'll sing, even though it's kind of against the rules, you know, rap songs, or you know, the modern day songs, and you know, and I've seen the guys sing, you know, Itsy Bitsy Spider and Baby Shark, just to distract the guessers, and how the game has changed, and even having more fun like that. But when I was taught, you always have your hands like this, but nowadays everybody's like, you know, dabbing and going crazy with their hands. And you know, I was like trying to find the marked object, then was they're like, okay, pick one now. It's like, that isn't how I was taught how to play this. Yeah, but then it's still the same thing, you know. Left hand, right hand, inside, outside, block, you know, whatever. And but those are the basic. For the hand games, Moxon game is a little bit harder, because you'd have like a stick, and then you would boom. You know, that's how you always hear when you hear that Moxon game. You hear that picking, try to pick where the marked object, where you hear that slap. And when you do that, that is your choice. There's no, oh, I wasn't thinking that one. It'd always be like little hand signals with their guesser, and the person that's watching the marbles. They'd be like, okay, it's under these ones, you know, these ones, or you know, they try to hide their hands like this. It's like, oh, it's, you know, we move their finger, like, oh, it's this one, or which one it's at. They did talk, but they wouldn't talk, you know, smack to the other team like, you suck, you're gonna lose. No, it's they talking themselves like, okay, well, which one is it? They wouldn't say anything. They point towards their fingers, you know, like, oh, the marked object is right, you know. They wouldn't show their team, that just, you know, use their fingers. But let's I'm gonna move the camera here a little bit, and we're gonna get to the game, the Moxon game. I'm gonna do a little hiding, and then show you the very basics of the sticks of the games. We're kind of running out of time here, and I really just have fun explaining the rules. And sorry about that, but let's try to see if we can get to the game. So I'm going to move this here a little bit. to where we're going. Can you see that? Can everybody see that?
You want to angle it down a little bit?
Yeah, okay.
To the left, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there? Right there?
Yeah,
Perfect.
looks good to me.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. If you can see me still here, oops. So what we do is, let me get down here. All right, so what would you do is, you know, somebody there'd always be a hand drum. And you'd always have a singer. You'd have your 20 sticks, you know, they'd be marked for this team. And those would sometimes represent arrows. Then on this side over here, you would have the same thing. 20 sticks. Did I wrap this up too? 26. And then there would be another board, like up here, there would be like that we call soldiers. There'd be like a peg, a board here with like 9 different like little pegs. And the middle peg would be a little bit color different. See, I would have green and blue on one pegs for the 4 pegs. Then on the other peg, I would have like blue and red. And there would be 4 pegs like that. But the 5th peg would be a little different. And okay, so here's our objects. Well, these aren't exactly, I don't have any marbles or bullet casings. See if I can get this little thing open here. Yeah, here that open. So, but if you'd actually look, if you could actually see that, one of the objects is different. Because I'd have like 3 pennies, 3 pennies and a dime, because a dime is close to like pennies without any variance. So, or else I would just have one of the other pennies marked. And say I was, it was my turn to hide. So I would use my best, you know, sit down like this, and then I would, you know, go like this and press, you know, one of the items, you know, one of the items under here. And go like that. And the other side with these big things, you know, because they'd each be, you know, each set would be, you know, if he was like, say, okay, well, we'd have the highs and the lows. Your first guess would be anywhere between, would be like, cost you like 8 sticks. The second time would be 6. The 4th time would be 4. Then if they guessed it, say the guy was like, okay, well, he went like that. Then he tapped this, and the guy would reach under it. And if he, nope, that's a penny. That's not the marked one. So he would lose 8 sticks. So say, okay. So say his second guess was here. So the guy would reach under, and you put the if it was a marked object, you would put it up on the thing, so you wouldn't know where it was. So then it would come down to this right here. So then the guy would like, so say he just went, nope. So the guy would go, throw it up there. Then you reach under, pull out the marked object. Then in just that set, he lost 8, 6, 4, 18 of his sticks. And when he'd lose 20 of them, that's when they'd put a peg in one of the 9 spots to say that they won 8 game, and they would play to 5 games. So, you know, and then there'd be hunting, they would hide again. And the same thing with the the things, the highs and the lows, the outside or the insides. The first one, if he lost again, then he loses 20 sticks, then he'd get another peg and it would play to 5 games. And after the game was over, they would shake their hands. And even now, you know, on this side after where they're hiding, you'd be, you know, you have that that kind of sidestep beat for the moccasin games. And I've seen places where they'd even have dancers in the back, like jingle disc dancers, and they'd have guys with you know, the rattles, and those would be to distract the guys from picking, which would be the hider or the hunter, you know, the guys who's gonna pick, and he would pick with the big stick. So that is the very basics of that. So, all right. That is the very basics of the moccasin game. So let's switch it around here. Switch around the camera and go to the hand games. Can you see that? Anybody there?
Yeah, I can, a little down, or yeah, that's good.
Is that good?
Yeah.
So this game is basically, it's a little different. It's a little, we don't play to 10. We don't play to 10. We play to 5. A coin toss would determine who would get the kick stick, the final stick, and we'd only play to 5. But then you have 2 people, so you could lose like 2 sticks at a time, and it'd always be a judge. You know, the people would be kneeling down. Or this game, they sit in chairs now, and which is a lot better for, you know, us older guys. So, but yeah, you would hide. If I can get down here without too much cracking. So, okay. So, all right, let's go. All right, okay. So here's what I would do. So say if I had 2 people here, or 3 people, you know, it can be played with 2 people, but you'd have a certain things right there. And one of the objects, 2 of the objects would be marked. If you look carefully, you see, I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's definitely markings there. So say there's one set, take them up, behind my hand, or then I hold them out, you know, hold them out, and then I'd have somebody singing. And then if they pick this hand, like with the, well, as I showed before, they went like that. But on the other side, they picked this hand. So I would go, nope, stick. They lose a stick. If they guessed right, then I'd have to throw them over, you know, or hand them over to be respectfully. You know, even if I lose a stick, I would, you know, hand it over. I wouldn't, you know, be disrespectful. And the thing with this game too is there's no talking. There's no talking, there's game, you know, and if you win, you only play to 5. So you'd want to be careful about how you picked. You know, you'd only play to 5. If you had the kicker stick, you'd play to 6. But this game can be played by the men and the women. And the women just have fun during this song because they can sing whatever they want. But that is the meaning behind the very basic concept of the moccasin game and the hand games, or the bone game. So is there any questions out there, since I'm stuck like this now? So as soon as the video's over, you're gonna hear me grunt and my knees crack, my back crack, and my hips crack. But yeah, you know, during this part, you know, it's just like the moccasin game. You'd have to, you know.
So you would need a minimum of 3 people to play, because you would need somebody to drum and then 2 people to play.
Yeah, 2 people to hide. So, and you can have like the minimum of 3. You can have like a whole bunch of people, and you know, bring your rattles and stuff like that. But this is another game that can be played. It's the same concept. You know, you play over a blanket or even a table nowadays. But you would play over a blanket. You'd have like 3 chairs on this side, You have 3 chairs on this side, and you'd have somebody, you know, some person would be singing. But the drum is an important part of both games. You'd always have to have a drum. You'd always have to have a drum beat. And then, you know, well, these guys are high. I'd be singing. You know. And then if you lose, you know, if you guess incorrectly, you'd lose the stick. You guess correctly, you win the set, and it would be your turn to hide. You know, the hand drum would be passed off there. The captain would decide who's gonna hide and who's gonna sing. And I kind of like this game better, a little bit better than that game, the moccasin game, or, you know, the bear game, because the girls can play this game too. And it's a lot funner that way. You know, when they get to play, they get to have fun too. And there's no talking smack, as I said before. It's just all just in the name of fun. And I've seen some places where they've actually had money for this stuff. You know, in Skimitzen, when it was a big powwow, and in 2007, I saw one group from Oklahoma,
Is it
and they won.
is it okay if the girls sing that song?
Yeah, at this type of game, yes. You know, during this game, as long as they weren't, you know, on their time, you know, because that's another one of our teachings, that, you know, the women can have hand drums and sing with hand drums, but, you know, when it comes time to the you know, their moon, they have to put away their sacred items, you know, whether their pipe carrier, their drums, or their eagle feathers, or their medicines. But yeah, the girls can sing. Just, you know, I've seen some places where girls are just making guys look bad because they'd be too bashful to even sing it. Girls like, give me that. And I was like, okay. And it's a fun game.
Miigwech.
Yeah, so, you know, I like to thank KBFT and Boys for inviting me to, you know, teach a little bit more about, you know, to have fun with our Ojibwe games, and for both people, you know, the females and the males, the girls, the boys, to play this game and just have fun. That's what it's about. And I've seen sometimes where people would sit down and they would throw money in the pot, like the players would like throw money in the middle, and that's what they would play for. And I was like, oh, okay. I taught this game in Fargo at one time, and this lady come up and she was holding her baby, and she, you know, and when you sit down, you throw your money, you know, on the blanket. And she sat down and she was like, I want to learn how to play. And I said, okay, sit down. She puts her baby like right on the blanket, and I was like, I looked at her just like, are we playing for that? And she goes,
Bonjour.
goes, what do you mean?
Isabik indigo.
Yeah,
Rajashkan dotem.
yeah.
Mitanjigaming and doji.
So yeah, it was
Oh.
crazy. She didn't understand, like, you know, once you put your whatever you're on it, you'd put it there, and she put her baby like, and I was like, oh, okay. Must be confident you're gonna win this game because you just put your baby on the.
Well, that's another teaching there. You're not supposed to dance with your baby in a power grounds either.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing where, you know, all our children are considered gifts, and we don't, when we do that, there's meanings behind that, you know, you're giving your baby back, you know, you give your baby up, and that's a totally different, you know, aspect of even our power life.
Well, you don't put your baby down for gambling, eh?
Yeah, it's crazy. Down there, down a blanket, and I was like, no. But when I teach these for the kids, I make sure everybody has fun. You know, I don't put money up for the games. I put like dominoes and like Swedish fish and chocolate and candy, and for the winners and the losers. You know, the winners get a bigger bag of candy, but the losers still get a bag of candy or dominoes, or, you know, the big things of Cheetos, you know, the big plastic barrel of Cheetos. And, you know, everybody gets something to win. But yeah.
Sounds like it's a lot of fun, Terry. hopefully,
Yeah,
like once COVID's like not as serious or it's safer for us to gather, then maybe we'd be able to play this in person.
yeah.
To do something.
But yeah, those are the basic rules of the games. You'd have 3 people minimum. You'd have your singer, your hiders, and your guessers on that side. You know, the captain would pick who's going to guess, and you know, after a while, it's like, wow, you're a real bad guesser, especially if they lose. You know, wow, you had 5 times, you couldn't even win. You couldn't even win. Then, well, let's play again. And then they'd pick somebody else, and they're like, oh, you're bad at guessing, aren't you? Because it's just like, you know, a 50-50 chance, you know, to pick the marked object. And it's like, wow, you're really bad at guessing. And it's just a wonderful time, you know, especially when, you know, they see their faces light up, you know, it's like, okay, here's for the winners. And then, you know, see the other team like, oh man, you just killed it for us. And then, you know, you hear them say, but then, okay, here's something for you guys too. And like, oh, we get stuff too? It's like, yeah, you know, that's what this game is all about. It's all about fun. It's all, you know, it's there's no talk smacking between the teams, you know, be respectful when you pass it.
Oh, miigwech.
Well,
You did so well with the teachings.
I'd like to thank you guys for listening, and also KBFT, and also Boys for inviting me to show you guys a little bit of to have fun again. You know, I wish we could, but you know, during the Omicron variant and also the Delta variant and COVID-19, it's hard for us to get together even now. You know, and passing of Gene Goodsky, or Uncle Gene, you know, I don't know how we're gonna, you know, do his funeral. You know, how we're gonna actually get together to do that. But that's up to Diana and Kurt and Ashley to kind of figure that out. But I just wish those guys good luck. You know, I know it's hard to lose a father, you know, and it's hard to, you know, even lose a mother, parent. You know,
My condolences.
and then there are
Thank you so much for the teachings.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Terry, for joining us, and thank you guys all for spending your evening with us. If you guys have any questions for Terry or any things, or you want to get connected with him, you guys can send me an email. Terry, did you want to give a shout out to maybe your social media or your radio station or something like that where people can find you?
My is KBFT 89.9 FM, Niji Radio, NIIJII, radio.com, radio.org. I'm on Monday through Friday, 6 to 10 a.m. Central Time. I play a variety of music and tell bad jokes. You know, we don't have enough of that in the world. We don't have enough laughter, and at this junction, we need to laugh. We need to have fun. And that's what I try to do. But
medicine.
But yeah, you know, I'm on Friday, and I just play a variety of music. I play country music, I play pop music, I play old school music, classic rock and roll, heavy metal, pop music, soul music, and I tell bad jokes. You know, once in a while you'll hear me tell the old school bad joke about you know, what do you call a man with one leg longer than the other? Oh, I didn't even get a reply. Not even. You know, but
Terry, there's a question here from Shane.
okay.
And did you want to unmute?
Sure.
Yes, but I thought going to say is Shimigwatch Terry for the teachings, and me and my kids were having dinner and listening to you share your teachings, and also Shimigwatch to Peyton and the program that put this program on. Thank you, Shimigwatch.
All right, thank you, Shane.
All right, I'm gonna stop there.
All right.